Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you can be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. This coming Sunday, we've got WWE's Elimination Chamber, where both WWE and Universal titles will be defended. And also, I think, is Asuka? Yeah, Asuka's defending the women's title, I think, against Lacey Evans, too.
Almost as importantly, Big Red and the Trios title are back on the line. I won them back last night at TakeOver. They could just as easily be on their way back to you, or the Trios title be heading to the Enforcer.
I would suggest you roll by sometime this week and pick these up, because it's your one opportunity that you know of that you'll be able to get your Friendo Fantasy Bunk League
all of them
title. Do the Ultimo Larson picture.
That Friendo Fantasy Football title is legit, man. That's a nice belt.
Yeah. But I mean, what does it really mean? You know,
it means I won a football league.
So, thanks to everybody for hanging out with us last night for NXT Vengeance Day, along with the Enforcer and Cal Jack. We're going to talk about Cal Jack's performance at Bloodsport 4 and preview. Well, we're not going to preview. We're just going to talk about what we want to see Cal do at Bloodsport 5 this coming weekend, because that should be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So, yeah, man, let's get right into it. First, we're going to talk a little bit about the Forbidden Door, Larson. What's going on? Is it creaky? Does it need some WD-40 or what?
There's a lot of Forbidden Door talk of late. Probably the more interesting. Well, not really more interesting, because they're both interesting. This is interesting, though. The other stuff's interesting. It's all interesting. This is a fascinating time to be a wrestling fan, I'll tell you what.
It is.
So with Sammy Guevara leaving the Inner Circle last Wednesday and saying he needed a bit of a break from AEW on his way out, there was some speculation. Remember, we were asked about it. We did our Dynamite recap last week, that he could make an appearance on Impact. And over the weekend, Slam Wrestling reported that Sammy was slated to show up in the Impact Zone, but creative differences changed those plans. According to Slam, quote, after this Wednesday's episode of Dynamite, which saw Guevara quit the Inner Circle faction, Chris Jericho floated the idea of Guevara appearing on Impact. He pitched the idea to Khan, who contacted Impact about writing Guevara into an angle at the last minute. Impact's first take on things was rejected, but a second idea was given the green light by Khan. Plans were made to shoot the angle the next day, but Impact received a message directly from Guevara complaining about the creative direction. By the time Guevara arrived in Nashville, he received a message from Jericho advising him to return home and not to head to Impact's shooting location. Slam continues, quote, AEW owner Tony Khan is not pleased with Guevara after he voiced complaints about a planned storyline which would have brought Guevara into the ongoing interpromotional angle with Impact Wrestling. Now, PW Insider has some more. Steve, what are these details?
Yeah, so they say the original plan was Guevara to work a short storyline at the tapings that began this past Tuesday through Thursday, playing off Guevara quitting the Inner Circle. Multiple sources indicate that AEW and Impact worked out the plans, but that Guevara did not fly to Nashville the day before the taping scheduled and rescheduled himself to arrive in Nashville just a few hours before the tapings would begin. Impact sources also indicated that although everyone had agreed to the planned ideas, Guevara began texting Impact officials about alternative ideas and, quote, not wanting to do what was agreed to. At that point, Impact officials canceled Guevara off the tapings. We are told that the majority of what had been planned for Guevara saw Decay's Black Taurus utilized in that role instead. Impact sources reiterated there was no issue with AEW at all, and the relations between the two sides are golden. Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer himself, added in the most recent Wrestling Observer Radio that, quote, I had heard from one person at Impact, I don't know what the creative is that he turned down, but they said that the creative he turned down was something he should turn down. So he didn't like it, and they decided to do it with Black Taurus instead, and they did not use Sammy. There's no heat or anything like that as far as that part. I think that part has been kind of blown out of proportion.
Those transcripts are from WrestlingNews.co.
Yeah. So, I mean, inevitably, when you do cross-promotional stuff, you're probably going to hit certain roadblocks like this. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow evening if that's when that... who knows when it would have. I guess we just keep a lookout for Black Taurus and see what he's doing. Whether
considering
that's
that
or a later date.
He showed up last week on Impact.
It's part of the decay now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you do want to do like just assume that okay, whenever he shows up, that spot was meant for Sammy or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, last week it wouldn't have worked for last week because this is a thing that was just taped. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the situation would have been. But it's pretty interesting. I mean, and given that Meltzer's pretty plugged in to this stuff. I mean, he mentioned another, and let's see here.
Yeah, it's coming up later.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about that when we talk about it. Yeah, I mean, these doors are seemingly just being blown wide open these days. And it's going to be interesting to see how these kinds of disputes are resolved. It's been a while since we've had, AEW, company that has come such a long way in such a short time in such a high profile, now being at sort of the nexus of all these doors opening.
Yeah. I'll toss this out there as maybe this is speculation. It's something they might maybe have considered doing. I don't know, with Sammy. So, for the longest time, when someone left them being assigned with Impact, what would they do? They'd cut the bitter WWE promo.
Yeah, sure.
Have Sammy show up in Impact, cut the bitter Inner Circle promo, maybe have a match or something, and that would be that, essentially, just the way that it's stated here. It seemed like a short-term thing. Maybe he'd just pop up, promo, maybe a match, and that would be that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this would be a situation where he'd be unhappy with status, like, oh, this isn't a high profile enough thing for me. Or, obviously Impact wasn't going to suggest that he'd do a job for anybody. So I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I assume at some point we might find out. Even though they're sort of swapping him out and putting Black Taurus in, that doesn't necessarily mean that the same thing was going to happen. You just swap one guy in for another guy. So, at that point, you can sort of put the pieces together and say, okay, well, maybe this is supposed to happen. Good on Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is really young, but I kind of appreciate a guy who looks at something and says, doesn't work for me, brother. And at that age, with so much, he's got Jericho as sort of mentoring him, obviously. Good on him for standing up for himself and saying, And I think it's sort of a good lesson for AEW. You're going to throw these doors open, but sometimes they're going to swing back at you.
It's entirely possible.
And all sides are going to have to work out these kinds of things going forward and making sure that, hey, all the talent is on board with whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and especially a situation like this where it seems like things are moving fast. This
does. Yeah,
seemed like a thing where something just kind of fell into place within 24 hours. And you can come up with an idea and it can seemingly be green lit, and then upon reflection, you can think, as you mentioned, this doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah.
And so long as it doesn't strain the relationship between all the parties, creative differences happen.
Yeah,
as long as they can be worked through, that's natural part of any sort of creative endeavor.
You would think that the communication process would have to be sharpened up a little bit too, because if everybody agreed to it, but then Sammy, I don't know if he wasn't privy to what was going on. I don't know how any of that would have worked. If it's a matter of Sammy, them saying, hey, Sammy, why don't you go to Impact and do this? We already shot down one idea, but we like this one. Do you like this? And he said, yeah. And then on the plane or whatever, on the way there, he was like, hey, I don't really like this. That's being kind of unprofessional at that point. But again, without more details, we don't know. We have no idea.
We don't know.
So it's kind of irresponsible to start casting blame. But hopefully this is a situation where everybody remains professional and they get this figured out, because it is awesome for the fans like us who are sitting there watching Impact being like, oh, crap, this just happened. That's really neat. And then everybody marks out, and it's good for everybody. So yeah, hopefully they'll get it figured out. And these are just, some speed bumps, and the learning process will be had. Speaking of Impact, they announced during Saturday's No Surrender show that New Japan's FinJuice, David Finlay and Juice Robinson, will be heading to Impact and will be in the Impact Zone. PW Insider had some notes about this. Larson, what's going on?
So apparently this new deal is not a result of the partnership between AEW and New Japan's working relationship. PW Insider added that, quote, Impact actually already had a deal with New Japan agreed upon before the AEW agreement came to exist. Discussions between New Japan and Impact date back to the summer of 2020, right around the time the Good Brothers signed with Impact. PW Insider is told that tonight's announcement was a result of a lot of work described by one source as being many, many, many months to repair the frayed relationship between the companies. We were also told that the Good Brothers being signed to Impact and New Japan, having great interest in using them, was a huge factor in helping to mend the bridge between the companies. But, and if you want to avoid potential spoilers.
Yeah, this is this is a big one. And I mentioned this during our stream yesterday.
Yeah.
Before, we'll tell you spoiler alert when we're going to mention it. As a fan, I'm not happy I know this because this would have blown me out of the water. As a person whose business relies on me knowing this stuff, it's just part of what you have to do.
Yeah, comes with the job, man.
That being said, this is a huge spoiler. So maybe skip ahead. If you're on YouTube, skip ahead down to where it says...
the next little timestamp is, yeah.
The little timestamp with the new WWE signing, because it's a pretty big deal. So spoiler alerts out there. We're going to talk about it right now. Yeah.
So there could be more New Japan talent showing up in AEW or Impact as Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer stated on a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio. The following, these transcripts are from Heel by Nature. Quote, it's your last warning. Spoiler territory. And
also, just so people know, if you submitted a question on Twitter in our Twitter thread about this, we're not going to answer it because I don't want to have to go back. It's already said spoiler alert and then go back and like chop out a reference to this.
Yes. All right. This is what Dave said. Quote, everyone's in business now. It's all open. And Okada's coming at some point somewhere. I don't know where, but I know he's coming. Other people are coming. We may get Omega with Okada or Omega with Ibushi. I don't know what we're getting. I don't know that we're getting it. I just know that it makes sense that we would be getting it, but the doors are open, and that's a good thing.
Man,
pretty awesome, man.
That'd
is damn
pretty
incredible.
Huge, especially given the prior relationship with Impact and how they mishandled Okada while he was there during his time. That is a huge, huge deal for Impact.
Massive for AEW as well, getting Okada versus Omega at one of their shows.
What a smart move to have somehow signed the Good Brothers so they have a chip they can use. Hey, we know you guys want these guys. They're ours. Let's do some business. I was pretty shocked when I saw that they were working on something for so long away from AEW, just between Impact and New Japan, given how the TV stuff worked out. I mean, it's pretty shocking they were able to get past this. I mean, for such a long time, we had heard that New Japan had beef with Impact over a variety of things, and one of them is how they treated Okada such a long time ago. But it's clear that all the work that Callis and Scott D'Amore have put in to mending these fences, to mending these relationships, has really paid off, because this is really exciting stuff.
It is really exciting. That's pretty great. Assuming it comes to fruition. That's pretty great. That's pretty
absolutely great. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Harry's. Larson,
what?
Far too often in life, we're forced to choose between quality or a fair price. But I'm happy to say that with Harry's, you don't have to choose. Harry's gives you award-winning blades at factory direct prices.
Yeah, Harry's are such believers in quality that they purchased their own factory in Germany.
Wow.
So they can own each and every step of the manufacturing process. They've combined a simple ergonomic design with 5 sharp blades, managed to do that while offering their blades at a fair price. And right now, Harry's is offering their starter set plus a free body wash for just $3 at harrys.com/raw.
Yeah, I've been using Harry's for quite a while now to keep this face of mine baby smooth. And I've got to say, the quality of their blades is top notch. In fact, Harry stands by the quality of their blades so much that they offer up a 100% money back guarantee.
And if you want a clean, smooth shave like Steve here, do I have a scoop for you? For a limited time, Harry's has an exclusive offer for Going in Raw listeners. New customers can get a Harry's starter set and free body wash for just $3 at harrys.com/raw. That's over a $16 value for just $3.
You'll get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, a travel cover, and a travel-sized body wash. It's an incredibly great deal, but act fast while supplies last. Go to harrys.com/raw to redeem your offer. Let's move on now to talk about some new WWE signings. Of course, At NXT Vengeance Day Takeover, we saw the debut of Eli Drake, now LA Knight, and last night during Takeover, I'm sorry, he's not the only new signing for WWE's Black and Gold brand. PW Insider reported that Taya Valkyrie, the longest reigning Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion in history, has signed with WWE for the NXT brand. She is expected to be part of the next announced class of signings. Last week, Paul Levesque, the Game Triple H, touted that the next class of signings will have the largest quotient of female talents to date. Taya was at this past Wednesday's NXT TV taping. And Fightful Select, go subscribe to Fightful Select, is reporting that Blake Christian, who's recently been seen in Impact, and Christian Casanova, they've signed NXT deals. Wow, Blake Christian was just on
I know.
New Japan Strong, too.
Yeah, he was on Impact.
And he was on Impact,
He's really good. He's really good.
He's terrific. He is terrific. Yeah, he was part of
really
the
good.
Super J Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he is. So yeah, that's all exciting stuff for NXT. I mean, I don't know where they're going to put all these people. Larson,
I don't know either.
They've got to be the NXT for NXT show on Peacock. That's got to be a thing, right? Like that. They have to make another show.
You would think so at this rate.
Even NXT UK is loaded with people. Like, I don't know how they're going to unload any of those people. Imperium is coming to NXT, apparently. Who knows for how long, though? That's probably just for Worlds Collide or something.
Yeah.
But it's mind-boggling how many people they're going to end up with.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. There are some people who have yet to sign with WWE. A lot of them were at Bloodsport on Saturday.
Yeah.
Fun show. I thought this one was a marked improvement over the last one. The last one was bad. I really liked the presentation. Was warehouse.
Really cool.
It had a very distinct like Lucha Underground vibe in terms of the color palette used. It was all they used the color timed it so it's warmer feeling.
Yeah.
It
seems really sweaty and hot in that place.
Yeah, they had the smoke machine going.
Yeah.
It was just a ring, 2 competitors, and a ref. That was it.
Yeah.
They found a great location, some warehouse. I'm imagining they had some like exposed brick walls.
It looked great. Yeah.
It looked great. Great. Someone else looked great. Cal Jack, friend of the show, the best host of Going In Raw.
Yeah.
Put forth a dominant effort against Nolan Edwards.
It's him or the Enforcer. One of the two.
Yes. Of them. Both of them better than us. No debate there. Dominated Nolan Edwards, hit him with hibernation, chucked him against the wall to get that W. Which is what I was really hoping he would do, and he did it, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud of you, Cal.
Nolan knocked him down with a headbutt, looked pretty vicious, and tried to, but it was moments later. Cal Jack. Definitely proud of Cal Jack. Chucked him against the wall. I don't know if anybody's heard from Nolan since then. Hey, good on him for putting up a good fight.
Yeah, man.
If you're gonna go, if you're gonna go down, that's the way to go down against a guy who is literally part bear. Thoroughly a really fun show. I haven't watched all the matches. I watched that one. I watched the Super Beast. What's that other guy's name? Tito. Bad Dude Tito. That was really good.
That
was a really, really good match. Yeah.
I was really happy to see all the NorCal wrestlers in the show.
Yeah, dude. Simon Grimm was there. He fought Filthy Tom Lawler.
Yeah.
And that was a really fun match as well.
JR Kratos was on the card. You met
Kratos is huge.
Cal was on there.
As big as he was before, he's even bigger now. That dude is scary business.
Yeah. Jeff Cobb as well. He wrestled a ton around in Northern California before going down to Lucha Underground, and obviously since then Ring of Honor, New Japan. It was pretty cool to see. Really cool. I thought the main event's pretty good. Jeff Cobb versus Chris Dickinson. It's a good match.
I did not see that one, but I'm a big fan of both those guys. The Dirty Daddy.
The story
is the best nickname in pro wrestling.
The story was pretty good. It's a good story there.
I saw Dirty Daddy on Strong. I got to catch up on Strong too. There was some Road to Castle attacks. Dick Togo got a pin.
What?
He got a pin.
Over who?
Oh God, who was it? It was Show. It was like an 8-man tag match.
Did LP hit him with the loaded boot before that?
No, Evil hit him with Evil. which I had forgotten about that. That move was terrible.
Everything is evil.
Darkness Falls really needs to be like the only finishing move he does. Yeah, he had a show with Evil, with Everything is Evil or whatever it's called. Yeah. And it was like 10 seconds later, Dick Togo rolls over on show. So they're booking that move really strong. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, all right then. Do you want to talk about NXT UK? I mean, since you haven't seen the full card, I don't want to go into a full expansive recap of Bloodsport.
I don't. If you want to, I mean, if you want to,
I didn't really write any notes. I just sat and enjoyed it. Mostly. Yeah. Watching Cal Jack dominate, that was great.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Tom Lawler beat Simon Grimm. Davey Boy Smith Jr. beat Calvin Tankman.
Oh, I love Tankman. Tankman's great.
Cobb went over Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson. I'm trying to think what else from memory. Kratos won.
Oh, Kratos did win his match. Who did Kratos fight? You remember?
He fought. Shoot, what's his name?
The young lion, right?
Yes. Yeah, Alex Coughlin.
Yeah, was that who it was? Okay.
Yeah, that's who it was. That's
all right. Yeah.
Royce Isaacs lost his match.
Oh, that's a bummer. I love Royce Isaacs. Who did he fight? Sorry, dude. I'm just throwing all these. I shouldn't have.
I should have taken notes. I put it.
No,
here,
it's fine. It's fine.
That was a fun match. All the matches were fun. All the matches were a lot of fun. It was a pretty stacked card, and most of these matches don't go longer than like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a pretty brisk show. It's like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, you get like 6, 7, 8 matches in under 2 hours. And I appreciate they're just not tossing a couple guys in there and having them roll around the mat for a bit and have a finish. They're telling stories with these matches, which I appreciate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
for Lawler and Grimm, it was like the 5th time they've had a match, and Grimm trying to get on the winning end of one of these matches apart from one time. It was really a mismatched styles to a degree. They were talking about with Dickinson and Cobb, because early on Barnett was talking about how Cobb, as an Olympic wrestler, he's good with your throws, your suplexes, pinning. But he's like, I don't see much of a submission game from him. Which, of course, in a Bloodsport match, you can only win by TK or KO or submission. So,
that's a good question here from Jonathan. Did Simon Grimm bury Enzo Amore at Bloodsport? I miss the days when that was in my YouTube recommendeds all the time. Yeah. I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you want me to keep on recapping NXT UK. I watched it a little bit late. Usually I do this on Friday, just sort of pad out news brief. But no, it was fine. It was punctuated. The main event was Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster versus in a handicap street fight match against the Hunt and their manager Eddie Dennis. And it was a lot of fun. They gave it like 20 minutes. It was pretty long. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster ended up getting the pin on Primate when they both did their double high flying moves. So that was pretty good stuff. We had probably also notable. It started with the debut in NXT UK of Meiko Satomura. She took on Isla Dawn. Really fun match to watch. Isla Dawn put up a decent fight. She has a really good Saito suplex. But Meiko Satomura got the win with her finisher, Scorpio Rising. It's like a step-up axe kick down to the back of...
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. We had, it was made official, Rampage Brown and Joe Coffey. They went to a conference room so that Johnny Saint could zoom in and like slightly off camera read his lines and set that match up.
Oh, dear.
Even though he really had like 3 things to say. We had a video package hyping Danny Luna. It was all about her powerlifting skills. We had a video promo with Valkyrie, which I've heard of her before. I don't think I've actually seen her wrestle before. And we had... they're like really fast tracking this Mako Kaylee Ray feud because like Kaylee Ray showed up during the match to sort of scope out what was going on. Mako dropped a promo saying, "I'm ready for you." We had a pretty funny Noam Dar Supernova Sessions chat show bit where he brings on his friend Shaw Samuels, who talks about being disrespected. He said half the roster wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, and I come in and they give me this ridiculous name, Ed Harvey. They're really going full on with him having a chip on his shoulder for them trying to do what WWE does with like a lot of people,
I like that.
them
I
with a
like
different name.
they're acknowledging that people come in, they're rebranded, and half the time the names aren't that great.
Yeah, that they're going full on with this.
I think that's great.
They did a funny bit where, because they go back so far, like Shaw Samuels was about to tell what seemed to be a pretty risque story about the old times of Noam Dar, and Noam Dar had to like shut him down, and vice versa. They did the same thing. So Sid Scala comes out, and Noam Dar is saying, "Hey Shaw, I've got some stroke around here." Sid Scala comes out. He's like, "Hey man, you can't just be making matches." And Noam Dar sort of politics on behalf of Shaw, says, "Hey, this guy's all about the heritage of British wrestling. Why not have a kid put up his Heritage Cup against Shaw Samuels?" So that match has been set. We've got, let's see here. Oh, there's a great Trent Seven video package of him in the gym trying to lose weight, and him trying to find the motivation. It was really well done. He's great. Lots of personality. And then let's see here. We had Piper Niven beating the new French signee Amel. It's Amel. She beats her pretty decisively. Joseph Connors comes out and tries to distract Piper Niven, but it doesn't really go well for him or Amel. Let's see here. And then that was pretty much it. It was a fun episode of NXT UK. I enjoy that show. I think a lot of people don't watch it, but I think it's a fun hour of wrestling. If all you have time for is an hour, I mean, I don't know how many other shows are just an hour. It's that and MLW these days. Maybe New Japan Strong. So that's a good one.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of short, brisk wrestling shows.
They pack a lot into it, and because they got a pretty stacked roster. They pack a lot into that show.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, ExpressVPN. You know, Larson, I really do love Britain and all things British, and I really want to check out what's happening on BBC iPlayer. It's free, but it's only available in the UK, Larson.
Well, Steve, with the magic of ExpressVPN, you can control which country the internet thinks you're in.
Whoa.
In fact, ExpressVPN has over 90 countries to choose from, so you're only a few clicks away from unlocking access to tons of shows from a variety of streaming services all over the world.
ExpressVPN is also super fast and works on your phone, laptop, even your smart TV, so you can watch your shows on the big screen with zero buffering. So be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services, only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/GIR.
Don't forget to use our link so you can get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/GIR, expressvpn.com/GIR to learn more. You want to answer some questions?
Yes.
All right.
We have a thread up here on the...
We do. Mr. Triplemania, Juan Guerrero Jr. in Japan, great mood of being champion 2021 is celebrated. In Mexico, Dr. Wagner Jr. and Blue Demon Jr. still being near the top of the card is beloved, but in the USA, Goldberg getting high-profile spots causes anger. Why? What's the difference?
It's... So, like... In Mexico, I don't know. I mean, they do. They have old guys, but I don't know. Maybe it's well, for Goldberg, number one, he's not a good wrestler.
Yeah, I
think
that's
sort of first and foremost, isn't it?
I think I can speak for myself personally, and that's pretty much it. For Goldberg, it's two things. One, he can't perform at a high level. He can't perform at a high level.
He can't perform at a mediocre level.
He barely could in his heyday perform at a high level in terms of putting forth like really good matches.
Yeah.
And then there's that plus the idea that he'll come in, granted that's not the case now. He lost the match to Drew. He put him over. That was great. The idea that you have someone who can't perform at a high level when the WWE roster is more stacked with in-ring talent than it's ever been. The in-ring product has never been better in WWE. Like basically everybody on the main roster can put forth incredible matches.
That's exclusively what it is. It's like Kojima had that match. Sorry, Kojima had that match with Ospreay recently, and it's like I'm not going to complain about that because Kojima looked like $1 million, and Ospreay was busting his ass to make sure that he did.
Yeah.
And Goldberg, if Will Ospreay fought Goldberg and busted his ass to make him look like $1 million, I just don't think that Goldberg would.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody can.
I know. There's that aspect of it, and then just the idea that he'll come in, 2 or 3 times a year for a really high-profile feud, maybe even win a championship. At the expense potentially of other guys on the roster who are there every day putting forth incredible matches. For me, that's what gets me. Like if Goldberg could still perform at a high level and was there, I'm not saying he has to be there every week, was there on a regular basis, it wouldn't be such an issue.
Dude, he came in like the Fiend. And look, you can't exclusively blame Goldberg. I mean, obviously Vince McMahon is making these calls, but when I say, I don't really want to see Goldberg wrestle, I mean, I'm saying that to whoever is running WWE, which is Vince McMahon. Dude, he comes in against the Fiend, like one of the hottest characters, whatever, 2 years ago, a year ago. And, Fiend's on this great title run. And Goldberg beats him. Allegedly, because he didn't want a job to like a horror movie villain guy. And it's like, why would you do that? That's so lame. So to me, it's like, I'm not excited to watch a Goldberg match because number one, he could hurt a guy. We saw what happened in Saudi Arabia. Every match that he has, like what he did with Drew is like the perfectly booked Goldberg match. But the whole time you're just sitting there hoping that nothing bad happens. It takes the drama out. It takes the excitement out.
It does.
So if Goldberg was, if Daniel Bryan one day gets to be, once he is in his mid 50s or however old Goldberg is, and comes back to wrestle, like Lou Thez or Vern Gagne, who both wrestled like well into their like later days, I'll be super hyped about that because I know that guy can put on a really phenomenal match probably when he's like 55 or whatever.
Well, that's the thing too. I don't think Daniel Bryan would get back in the wrestling ring knowing that he could potentially embarrass himself. You know what I mean? If he didn't think he could do it at a high level, I don't think he would do it.
And I don't think he would come in and start demanding that he not put over guys. If that happened, if that's the case. And it probably, if he came in and there was like a young guy that Daniel Bryan was like, man, I'm 55, this guy's 32. And I see a big future in him, he'd probably convince Vince, hey, I don't want to go over this guy. I don't know. You see him right now. He's eating pins all the time.
Yeah, he's losing to everybody now.
To everybody. All people that he knows can benefit from a win over Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
So it's not, I don't know. I don't think it's, there could be, to Juan's question here, there could be a cultural aspect of it. I am not as well versed in the lucha culture in terms of being able to follow all their stuff to understand, to get a good grasp on it. But I also understand that when, Blue Demon Jr. and Dr. Wagner Jr. are in there, I'm going to get an entertaining match.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a super entertaining match.
Yep.
And if you can still do that, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
That's kind of first and foremost is, like even Brock, when granted he's not, quite up there in years as old as Goldberg is, he was a part-timer. Not every one of his matches was fun, but when he had the right opponent, he could still deliver in the ring.
I'd love to say, oh, man, Goldberg's back. That's great. We're going to get a fun match. That's the problem, though, is that we're not. We're going to get a scary match where he might hurt himself or somebody else.
Yeah. B-Man, Patrick Sparks, what would be the most creative way to split Dakota Kai and Raquel up, with Raquel coming out as a face to eventually win the title? How long from now would the win be, and against who?
I mean, you could do a thing where...
I mean, if you want to follow... Sorry, let me get this out real quick. If you want to follow the Diesel, Shawn Michaels thing, it's... Raquel's getting the wins. Raquel's getting the popularity. Dakota gets jealous.
Yeah.
And she's the one that turns on Raquel. And
that's exactly where I was going to go. I mean, you look at what was going on. Like, you see them taking pictures of it, of Raquel holding the Dusty Cup, and Dakota Kai, you see the video of like her trying to hold her end of it, and it's just like the metaphor is just played out right in front of your eyes. You mentioned the same thing last night on the recap. Dakota Kai literally got on the back of Raquel to get the pin to win the match. Maybe Raquel, now understanding that she can dominate, doesn't have such a chip on her shoulder, which is where the bad guy attitude sort of came from. And she's like, hey, I can start enjoying this a little bit now. I can enjoy the fruits of my labor, so I'm not going to be such a jerk. And Dakota Kai's like, well, hey, what about me? I'm the one who brought you here. And there's bitterness there. So, I think that's a pretty, and maybe to your point also last night, maybe Raquel being so overwhelmed with joy maybe that is part of the story. You know, maybe it's like, hey, after the thing, feel free to express how happy you are because you're going to be turning face here.
Yeah. The Wrestle Dude, what is one NXT TakeOver match that you like a lot but doesn't get a lot of attention?
I don't know. I don't remember if the North American ladder match that sort of kicked off the North American title thing.
I thought Meltzer gave that 5 stars.
I mean, is that worthy of getting a lot of attention? Does that get a lot of attention?
I don't know, because like the first thing that popped in my head was Gargano Almas for the NXT title. Spectacular. That's like, for me, that was like, I know it's not, but I felt like that was really kind of the first match of this particular era of NXT where it's just excellence. Let's say the word excellent matches before there's great matches. Nakamura and Joe had tons of great matches. Say with Rude Nakamura, there's been tons of great matches.
Yeah, but they really stepped it up another level. You're right.
Yeah, and I felt like that kind of kickstarted that era. Granted, that was the night the Ciampa came back and all that, but and I don't know if that gets talked about, you know, in the same way as, you know, the Gargano, Ciampa, their initial trilogy. A lot of the other classic NXT matches. I don't know. Maybe it does. Another one though is Alistair versus Adam Cole. That was really good.
It was really good. Yeah.
That was really
I'm trying
good
to think something like further down the card, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the ladder match was a ladder match that was, you know what actually doesn't get a lot of play is like a lot of the NXT takeover stuff. Like up and down the card, those matches are all great, but everybody focuses on like, you know, the Pete Dunne versus. Well, I don't know, Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. I don't think that was that wasn't at a UK takeover. That was at a straight up takeover.
Yeah.
But like the Walter matches, people can, you know, really focus on those a lot now, which they should. Walter's amazing.
Yeah, he is amazing.
But like up and down the card, like their tag team matches are phenomenal. They are phenomenal.
You know what it is? It's Mustache Mountain versus DIY at Worlds Collide last night.
That's a great, that whole Worlds Collide was
great.
Was great. And it didn't really get a lot of, I mean, we called it like, I think our show of the year besides.
Yeah, well, if not then one of them. John. Just want to get that in there. Sorry. People are asking for a John.
I know.
So
I really should have just taken a different. I should not have brought it out into the open because now it's flourishing. It's growing more. I think, did I post a poll last night on our?
I saw something on YouTube about that.
I'm trying to engage more because that's what you got to do on the YouTube.
Yeah, you got to do engagement.
By the way, if you haven't hit that sub button, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and then click on click the notification bell. Do that because that's engagement.
Yes.
Let's see here. Community.
Greg Morris.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little closer than it was last night, but wow. 1,000 votes. Over 1,000 votes for this.
Yeah.
62% says it should stay.
John.
38% say drop it. That's a lot of people who say drop it, though, man. That's like whatever that is.
That's almost twice as many people says it should stay.
But with the people that's like, I don't know, what's 38% of 1,200? Whatever, 40% of 1,200, 600, about 500 people. 500 people. Okay. Yeah.
But there's almost twice as many people say to keep it.
But here's the thing. The people who, if you stop doing it, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to leave just because you stop doing that.
I don't know. Maybe people who love it, just love it. If I stop doing there's no reason for me to watch this show anymore.
I don't think it's going to happen. That's so unreasonable.
Here, put that poll up there, and then we'll find out.
Will you stop? But they're going to lie. That's the thing. They're going to lie.
Well, you can't assume that.
See, Johnny Ralston here says, I love it, but maybe drop it just in case it scares people away.
You know what? If people are going to watch Going in Raw, they're going to watch Going in Raw for us. And if they like us.
Oh, man. I've created a monster.
People like John. I went a whole 30 minutes without doing it, so. That's longer than the typical watch time for an episode, so that's that. Greg Morris.
Honestly, if my obnoxiousness hasn't driven him away yet, I doubt that's going to.
Greg Morris, if SmackDown does a gauntlet match for the last entry power rank, who's most likely to win? Greg Morris says Cesaro.
It's Cesaro. It's totally. That's going to be the moment that Nakamura had that Cesaro couldn't get because, like,
at the same time, I'm starting to really turn around the idea of Cesaro winning the chamber match. So if that's the case, I actually think it's more likely. I feel like it might be more likely that he's first to the chamber and runs You know, it was like from first to last. He's the only person obviously not eliminated. And then that way, when he wins and it's just like totally beaten up and beaten down, he has to have his match with Roman right away. Tons of babyface underdog heat right there.
Sammy's in there with Kevin Owens, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That could lead to a Mania match with those two.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say
they're both pretty high profile right now.
I'll say Jey Uso last.
Oh, that's good. That's a good pick.
That'd be my pick to stand the
I'll
whole
say
gauntlet.
my pick is Sami Zayn.
All right, very well. Another one from Greg Morris with a good build a la Kofi. Who would get a larger Mania pop winning the title, Cesaro or Nakamura?
At this point, it'd be Cesaro.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
I think it'd totally be Cesaro. I think Nakamura, he had lots of huge pops in NXT. He's been there. I think fans understand that this would be a long time coming for Cesaro if that was the case.
Wrestling fun time. Are people working themselves into a shoot on Sammy?
I don't know
if that's the case. I wonder if it was one of those. This is speculation. I don't have any sources. If there was a situation where yes, there was a disagreement, but it's been kind of overblown a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not enough to cause any ill will or anything like that. But you know, creative differences happen sometimes.
I mean, I think there's another question here. I think somebody asked it. Said, you know, do you think that the Sammy situation is a work? Like all this info coming out is a work, and I really doubt that. I would really doubt. Let's see here. Sober Chad, how do you think guys like Okada, Naito, and Jay White would be treated on WWE main roster? I think at this point they'd have to, like, if you bring in Okada, if you don't hotshot him straight to the title, then you don't bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Okada being even an upper mid-card guy. He's got to be a perpetual main. He's Okada.
I know. He's the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
And he should be treated as such. And if you're not going to treat him as the best wrestler in the world, you know, like a consummate champion, perpetually in the main event scene, then don't bring him in.
I think Jay White might get the AJ Styles treatment.
Yeah.
They bring him in, hey, let's see how this works.
A good comp.
And if he really performs up to his level that we know he can, he's got big things for him.
How old is Naito? He's in his mid-late 30s, right?
Yeah, I think he's like probably 30.
I could see WWE doing something with him like they did with Nakamura, which he has a really good run in NXT, and he puts the main roster with a lot of buzz, and they just don't really do anything with him.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. He is, he's 30. Yeah, he's 38. That's right.
Heel Long Heavy, if AEW, Impact, and New Japan had a G1 style tournament, who's in it and who wins it? Give Moose that win.
Whoa. I like it. I like it a lot.
Anthony
I would say that's the moment you give that win to Hangman Page.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
When he's
good.
like, you know, because he's, you know, yeah.
That's good. Anthony Tobias, if Adam Cole goes to the main roster, does he take the Undisputed Era theme with him, or does he get something new? He'll get something new.
He's going to get something. He might get something new Wednesday. You know, they might have something new for him already.
Entirely possible. Ken Smith, fantasy book, The Bad Creative that Sammy Guevara turned down at Impact.
Oh, man. Awesome. Yeah, somebody had mentioned this. I had seen this is not original, but what if he was under the suicide mask? Like Rohit Raju. No, wait, it's TJP. So TJP has an open challenge.
Or
Manic
suicide. Yeah.
has an open challenge. And that's even better. Wait, but Manic, you see some of his face, don't you?
No, Manic, you see all his tattoos.
Yeah, but I thought you could see through his mask some of the face paint.
Maybe part of it, but like if Manic comes walking out and cause I don't think Sammy has any tattoos on his arms. If he does, there's not a lot. And there's no tattoos there.
Ed Hardy type
sleeves.
Sleeves. Yeah, some like costume sleeves. He comes out, Suicide answers the open challenge. And I like the idea of Manic doing it. That'd be rad.
Mm-hmm.
If it was
against
somebody in
TJP
against
and they
TJP.
Superman meme moment.
That'd be awesome.
Blake Elizondo and the
Why would Sammy turn that down?
Yeah, I don't know. Blake Elizondo, memory of the table that spontaneously combusted. What are the best and worst announced table spots? That was so great.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, the first time Orton bellied back someone on the announce table.
Well, the Singh brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to check on him because he was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, that look on his face. No, he did this.
What? Yeah.
That was great.
When Luke Harper saved, wasn't it Luke Harper saved Mustafa Ali from killing himself on one?
Mm-hmm.
They need to get rid of those. The ringside announce tables are just...
Push it back at least.
Push it back. Get it out of here.
Push it back.
Just put but if you're gonna do a table spot, just do like set up the table. You know, do the thing, pull the table out from underneath. I don't need people. You know, the commentary table gets destroyed. I don't need that stuff, especially now. It's completely jumped the shark with this Tony Storm business. She like moves one thing off.
Paper off.
Yeah.
House of Cards, man. House of Cards.
And it just completely collapses.
Jason
I've
Lewis,
seen House of Cards stronger than that, man.
Jason Lewis power ranked the best middle fingers in wrestling. Well, Stone Cold's got to be number one.
All right, take him out of there, though. Take him out of there. Because he is number one, and it's a long, long gulf between the next ones. Has -1 done a middle finger yet? I know he's saying he has said some stuff that's a bit, welcome to hell or something like that.
Not that I'm aware of.
I wonder if that'd be over the line for some people. I don't know. He's a little kid. Just recently been exposed to her work. Maki Ito.
Mm-hmm.
Great middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
When she goes up to Su Young. And Su Young gets... Yeah, it was good stuff.
NJWP, as the NWA isn't really operating at the moment, should it work with the Impact AEW working arrangement so that NWA title could sort of travel again? I mean, they are. I just don't know. Maybe there's something in the way that prevents Aldis from getting involved in all this. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, with Sarita Deeb, the NWA Women's Champion, being, like a contracted AEW wrestler, obviously they're involved in that.
Has any promotion been hit as hard as NWA? They've been, that basically killed them by COVID.
Well, in terms of like televised wrestling, yeah.
Staying, like, just being able to do, like, Ring of Honor shut down for a spell, but they're back up and running.
Yeah, they're back up and running.
Yeah.
If you take like small independent promotions out of it, then yeah. You talk about the televised companies, yeah.
But even like GCW has been able to stay. They have done everything they can, to run shows, as safely as possible to stay relevant. That's a real hustling promotion right there. NWA, I know they tried with Shockwave and they did the stuff with the United Wrestling, whatever it is. But boy, they got hit really hard. And now, you got Ricky Starks, who's on his way to being a huge star. Zicky Dice wanted out. Who knows where he's going to end up.
Thunder Rosa is basically,
Thunder Rosa is an AEW
wrestler.
star.
Yeah.
Like that's happening.
Yeah. Nick, hypothetically, what if Raquel and Dakota get the title shot at Mania and Io gets the Mania spot as well? Ideally, who would challenge Io at WrestleMania?
You know what would be awesome? Just awesome. Is if it was Io versus Bayley.
That would be good.
Like Bayley has a crisis of confidence. She's like, man, I need to figure things out. Where did I have the most? She had the most success on SmackDown, but still.
SmackDown, yeah.
But she, was like, hey, NXTs were the best. They never admit that. But if she found a reason to challenge Io Shirai at WrestleMania, that would be a show stealer for sure.
That'd be pretty great. That would be pretty great. The Wild Dude, if WWE were to do their own version of Being the Elite, who do you think should be the most recurring cast members of it?
It's a shame they don't.
I know.
It'd be great if they were just like, hey, New Day, or hey, somebody,
New Day would be my pick. New Day would totally be my pick.
That's the first, obviously it's the New Day.
Yeah.
100%.
Matthew Makovsky. Roddy seemed like the child of divorced parents with "What the heck am I going to do now?" face last night. Says I could totally see Cole versus Kyle, but also a tag match with Cole and Roddy versus Fish and O'Reilly. Thoughts? I mean, I don't know when Bob Fish might be coming back.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, it seems like they're kind of proceeding under the idea that they don't know when he's coming back either.
I would love to see a triple threat. I mean, I know it's not the full contingent, but I mean, those three guys. Bobby Fish has always kind of had injury issues. So those three guys that's the thing right there.
Combat Kev, who was the top star in the indie scene you want to see signed with either WWE or AEW? Where's Dirty Daddy going? Where's Kyle Jack going?
Obviously, you got to take Cal Jack out of it, but it'd be the Dirty Daddy, I think. He's great.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Where do you want to see him go?
I don't know, man. God. You know what? I would actually, he was on Strong. Have him signed to New Japan. Because he's a guy that, they have, to a degree, they've got Mox, who might fill some of the same. But I think he's a terrific character. I'd like to see Dickinson go to New Japan.
J.R. Kratos, full-time New Japan.
Yeah, there you go. Boy, that's a big dude.
Yeah. That's the loudest chop I've ever heard in my life.
Loudest chop he hit on some guy in
Aaron
SPW.
Sky. You calling Aaron Sky some guy, Steve?
That's right. His name is Aaron Sky. That was the loudest. That was the loudest chop I've ever heard. That was obscenely loud.
Yeah, because Kratos is like pushing 300 pounds, and Aaron Sky is like built like me.
Dude, he's so much smaller than you.
Yeah, he was smaller. He's like 5'8".
He's like you back in like 2010 before you started
70.
like putting a little bit of muscle on you.
Yeah. Man, he chopped the hell out of him. Then he threw him against the wall.
Yeah. What is it with big men throwing little guys against the wall? Jeez.
Anthony Matthews, no question. Just wanted to say thanks. Unlike a lot of online wrestling hosts, you guys don't feel the need to yell into your mic for an hour, randomly start crap with people on a weekly basis. As you guys say, just be cool, man. And you guys are cool. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony. That's very nice. We don't want to start crap with anybody.
No.
I mean, if we do, it's completely on accident. Let's see here.
Wow. This is a weird question.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, Gareth says, Bow Wow wants to be the next celebrity to turn WWE superstar. Should WWE make an official part-time celebrity division? Gronk, Bad Bunny, Machine Gun Kelly, and Stephen Amell could all be a part of it. Which celebrity would you like to see grapple inside the squared circle?
Like, I don't mind occasional appearances from celebrities. Like, I think so far they've handled the Bad Bunny, bringing him in basically perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think this is a situation. You bring a celebrity in, someone who is a fan of wrestling, by all indications, and he knows his role. He performs his role really well, and that's kind of the model of how I think you should do it. The short little runs. As far as having like a full-time celebrity division,
I'm not into it.
No,
not into it.
No.
Gronk left such a bad taste on it.
I know.
That was so dumb.
It was like he signed, but didn't know what he was getting into. That's what it seemed like.
It's like he had never watched it. Like he's a big WWE fan, but had never watched it before.
Yeah, no. All right, Dalen Doolow's got an interesting question. A mysterious man has stolen your face skin, is pretending to be you. He's making solid financial decisions on your behalf. So you're not in any particular rush, but you'll have to retrieve your face at some point. What wrestler do you hire to track and steal it back?
Oh, boy. I mean, you need somebody who's good at hunting
Repo
another
Man.
human.
Repo Man.
Yeah, you're taking back your property. That's good. Repo Man's good. Yeah, I was going to, press charges with Big Boss Man. Be like, hey, man, he stole my face. He took my face.
You wouldn't be in Cobb County, Georgia. I don't think you'd have jurisdiction.
Maybe he can become. Maybe his next gimmick is federal marshal.
Oh, all right. Has there ever been someone that's had like a FBI agent gimmick?
There had to have been. I'm so hungry. My stomach just hecka growling.
All right, you want to go eat?
I do. Thanks for watching.
I had a huge plate of mashed potatoes and chicken tenders.
I'm gonna make meatloaf tonight. My mom sent me a picture of her meatloaf, which she went crazy. She started putting rice in it instead of like stuffing, and I can't stand that. But now I'm gonna go get the ingredients tonight. I'm gonna have it during Raw.
Do you want me to send you the recipe I use and give that a try? It's simple.
Nope. I got my recipe. I'm very happy with it. So I'm gonna make that tonight. Have some meatloaf sandwiches. Hopefully, I'm not gonna fall asleep during Raw.
Do you have what do you put in there? Breadcrumbs? Is that your binder?
I put Stouffer stuffing in there, man.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
Ooh, it's so good.
That's good.
I
gotta try that. I usually just do oatmeal. Oatmeal works really well.
Mm-hmm. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.